Hey guys, happy 2026. I'm so excited to be posting again. I haven't posted a video in such a long time, but it's a goal of mine for 2026 to start posting it on my channel. And I just wanted to do a video to start the year showing my New Year's refresh. I will be getting back to my budgeting content. In this video, I wanted to cover my resetting for the year and show you some of my planner setup that I have for 2026. Planning on paper this time, where I'm doing all of my tracking for the year, and show you how I set up my Hobonichi, which is my planner this year. But yeah, to kick off the new year, I did a big organizational project, which was taking this closet that was an absolute disaster and turning it into a functional space to use for storage for crafting supplies and gift wrapping and important documents that we have. So I was super proud of myself. I bought some shelves and built them and put them in the closet, and then took that huge pile of mess and sorted it out into different buckets and baskets. And this was the result, which I'm so happy with. I feel like it came out great and it's super functional. So a great way to kick off the year and start 2026 with a fresh feeling start. So that was the before, the after. I had it in a craft cart with supplies, and I just love how it came out. So happy 2026. I'm happy to be posting again, and let's start planning for the year. So I am a person who needs a planner. I've had many planners over the years, from all sorts of different brands, and every single year I get a new planner. I set it up. I have gotten some from Papier, the brand Papier, which have been really nice, the weekly planners. I've had blank notebooks where I just do bullet journaling. This is also a blank notebook that I had for the last year from a brand called Graphique, where I just did kind of bullet journaling. But I'm super excited because after all these different planners, over the holidays, I was gifted my first ever Hobonichi. And if you're a part of the planner ecosystem on YouTube, you know people take Hobonichis very seriously. And there's so many videos that are all about how to set up your Hobonichi. And so I just wanted to share how I set my Hobonichi up, and hopefully maybe it'll give you some ideas. But I'm super excited to use it this year, and I've spent this whole January resetting and getting into the swing of things again, and setting up my planner was a big part of that, so I can start the year with a fresh start. So to start with, I got just a really basic zip case off of Amazon. This was very cheap. I can link it down below. It's like 20 something dollars, just to hold everything together. And in it, I can show you my two notebooks. So these are how it's not super cute. I'm not a super cute aesthetic person. I think when I first get a new notebook, the first thing I do is try to kind of mess it up a little bit so I don't feel that perfectionist anxiety about opening a new notebook. But this is my Hobonichi 2026 Cousin. So it has all the views you could ever want, from annual to monthly to weekly to daily. Everything in here. And then on this side of things, I just have a blank notebook that I use for just brain dumping random ideas and thinking things through and writing. So this is basically my layout this year, and I just keep adding stickers or scrapbooking things onto the covers, just because the more I use it, the less I feel awkward about like how to set things up perfectly. I would rather have it be functional and something I use every single day. And that kind of helps me get over the hurdle, and I can always change it later to something more simple if I feel like it. But yeah, so on this side, I just have, again, brain dump ideas. So like things I want to accomplish in the next year, or anything, things I'm proud of, things I don't want to forget. And then over here, this is like my functional command center, the Hobonichi. This is something I'm going to be using every single day going forward. So this is how I'm setting it for 2026. And yeah, we can just jump into the different sections. So over here I have tabbed out, we have my fitness section, budget section, my weekly planning, and my daily planning section here. So we can flip over to the first section, which is, this is the annual overview. This is like the annual index. People use this in so many different ways, but I will show you how I'm planning to use it, and I'll zoom in a bit more so you can see. For the yearly index, I have set this up to use this as like a fitness tracker and period tracker. So basically anything to do with like my physical health. So over here, I have two columns. One of these is going to be for marking days off for my menstrual cycle, and the other one is just going to be marking days off if I got a workout in on that day, any sort of workout where I consider it more than just a light walk, but something I actually like set my Apple Watch workout to track. That's going to get a check off box. So it could be Pilates, it could be yoga, it could be walk, run, anything. I'll just check off any days where I actually do a workout and my cycle, so I can kind of match those up next to each other. And then here for every day, I'm just going to record from my Apple Watch what my steps were for the day and what my Apple Watch says my calories burned were for the day. And then at the bottom, I'm going to total all of this up, or maybe average it depending on what feels more appropriate. Like for steps and calories, it might be better to see an average for the month. And then I'll total up how many workouts I did that month, and the period will just be nice to see along the side, so I can see like when my energy is high or low. Maybe it has to do with my cycle. Maybe I can see that I have more workouts, you know, in the first week after my period when energy is really high, and fewer workouts when I'm PMSing. I don't know, but I would love to see how this looks at the end of the year, and if I can see some patterns there. And then maybe at the bottom, I'm thinking about adding in some graphs where I can track like maybe weight throughout all the months, or I can track the steps for all the months. There's 12 boxes along the bottom here, so technically I could do monthly tracking for anything body related. But this is, I'm planning to use as my like body center, like tracking for, I might track weight here, weight loss, obviously fitness and period. So that's how I'm going to be using the annual index, not for events, just for, this is dedicated just for fitness and period tracking. So next we'll go on over to the monthly section. So I haven't filled out January yet because obviously we just started, but I'm planning to use this not again for events. Maybe I'll add like 1 or 2 events in here, but mainly I want to use this for tracking my budget on a daily basis. So I have it divided into several different categories. So I'm just going to not write the details or anything. I'm going to total up by category and highlight it for every single day. So green is income, blue is any bills, yellow is groceries, sort of this grayish color are things that I need, like gas, or like the kids' school fees for their lunches. Anything that's a need is going to go in gray. Red is for wants, so fun stuff, going out to eat, anything that's like not absolutely necessary is going to be tagged as red. Pink is going to be for subscriptions, because we do have a lot of subscriptions and probably need to cut down on that, and I want to track that separately. And then orange will be for emergency expenses. So I tried to do this a little bit in December, because there was this extra month at the end, and this was my test page. It was definitely a mess, but I'm really glad that I did this because it helped me figure out the format I want to carry forwards. But my plan basically is tag the amount per category. And obviously, as you can see, December had a lot of Christmas shopping, which I all tagged as red because it was all wants or not necessary technically purchases, although I did have money set aside for Christmas. And then at the bottom, I was planning to add up all the totals, although I didn't do it right, so I kept crossing things out along the bottom here. But in January, I'm hoping it'll be nice and clean, and maybe that would be a fun way of also showing which days are no spend days. I would like to have at least, at least one no spend day per week. And overall, it'll help me kind of see the pattern of money going in and out. So I'm super, super excited to use this for budget tracking instead of just an end of the month wrap up. It's going to go on a daily basis. And I can backfill it as needed with totals. with totals at the bottom here. So that is going to be really helpful, I think. And that way I'm not duplicating things from like yearly, monthly, weekly. I have every section going to have its own purpose to it. So then we're going to go over to the weekly section, and I have these little ribbons I tied onto the buckle at the top of this zipper folder so I can use them as bookmarks. But the weekly section is much more your typical planner section, although I have divided it up a bit more than how it came initially. So the blank page or the blank spread looks like this. It's just every day time blocked for 24 hours. But I split it up a little bit more according to how I usually use. So like for instance, last year in this notebook, every single week I would do once a week, highlight at the top of the week. I would do one to-do list for home or personal stuff and one to-do list for work related tasks. And I really like that format. So I'm going to continue doing that here, but a little bit differently. So here I have, at the bottom, I'm going to do one section for home or personal to-dos, and the other section at the bottom is going to be for work to-dos. And that's cutting this time block period off only for the business day. So this is going to be my hourly, I can't even read my own handwriting. hourly slash appointments is what I wrote there in very messy cursive. So this is blocking from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. because that's typically when I do most work-related things or appointments and things like that. Last week, obviously, I was off, so I just put no work in for every day. But if I have meetings, I can add them here. I don't love hourly blocking. I'm not a person who really needs that like breakdown per hour, so I may change this later. And then at the top here for every day, I just wanted to put like priorities or little notes. So this is the day, like I worked on Friday, so back to work. Or we had a guest coming over on Thursday for New Year's Day. I got paid on Friday, just little notes at the top here. I might use this to do like top 3 priorities for those specific days. And down here is like weekly to-do lists. I'm still figuring out the best format. I'm also not used to having the weekend here. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to figure out how to use all of these things. And then on the left here, I'm just writing down meal planning ideas because again, in my old notebooks for last year, for instance, I would always, on my personal to-do list side, would always do like a little checklist of things I was going to cook that day, or sorry, that week. And it kind of helped me, like at the beginning of the week, I would just brainstorm a bunch of meals I might want to do, and just jot them down here and then check them off as the week went on. It also kind of helped me with grocery shopping. So I put that here to the side, that same functionality here. I'm still kind of playing around with the weekly format to see what makes the most sense for me, but I am used to planning things out mostly on a weekly basis. And I think the big thing about Hobonichi that is kind of a little challenging for me is that it is focused a lot more on the daily breakout, and I'm not used to planning on a daily basis. But yeah, that's how I have my weekly page. And then we can flip over to the daily pages. So this is just the start of January, so very light, but I do have some stickers I'll be using to like decorate here and there because I think that's fun. There's a blank page at the beginning of each month. So this is a blank page for January. And my plan for these pages is to use them as a bit of a mood board that I might add to throughout the month, or as I did at the beginning of this January, is just write my like top goals for the month. like organize office and craft storage, which I did. Pay off all credit card debt. We can go into that later, but I'm so close to being completely credit card debt free finally. I'm so excited about that. Put extra in the kids' college savings funds, and then maybe move their college savings fund to a different account. I want to bake one loaf of bread, just one, and get in movement every day. Those are my goals for January throughout the month. And then for the days, the specific days, I'm just doing either like little notes about what we did that day with a sticker, or this is a more functional page that I tried out on Friday where I have my little time block area for meetings. I have my daily task list, which is like my little checklist of things I need to do that day. Again, very messy because I'm just trying to put things in and figure out what works and what doesn't, and then I can make it pretty later. And then little notes about things. So there was a lot of stuff. We're behind on our escrow because they raised our property taxes. That's exciting. We just found out about that. We have to get insurance issues fixed with the car insurance. Blah, blah, blah. It's a lot. So this is going to be for like my daily brain dumps, and meeting notes and daily task lists. And I'll have to figure out how to balance out weekly tasks versus daily tasks and make it make sense for me properly. This might be where I start and then I carry things over to the daily pages. We'll see. But yeah, that is basically how I am using it so far. There are a bunch of pages here in the back too that I'd like to figure out how to use, but I think I'm going to stick with just these for now and continue to fill in my fitness stuff, my budget stuff, and make a mess. You know, I like to just get in there, make a big mess, and then actually make it work for me rather than worry about how my handwriting looks or anything else that's like kind of keeps you from actually utilizing it for productivity. So that is basically, that's it for my Hobonichi. And if anyone else has a Hobonichi or planner in general or recommendations on how to use certain sections, definitely leave it in the comments below because I'd love to read it.